All right, guys, let's get some NCAA basketball picks and props for Wednesday, February 14th slate of games. Trey, let's take a look at that leaderboard. How do you start us off?
Yeah, guys, I am 0-0 at the moment. I gave out Tennessee State -3.5 against Tennessee Tech, and that game did just now start. In Tennessee State, they're already up by 5 points, up 8-3. We're 5 minutes into this game, and Tennessee Tech only has one bucket. That's all you need to know. We're gonna hope the momentum keeps going.
Yeah, and I gave out the Badgers -8.5 going up against Ohio State. That game just started. Badgers up 8-2 early. I like what I'm seeing so far out of the Badgers. Need to keep that momentum going. Trey, let's go to the player props. How do you start us off?
Yeah, guys, and I'm 0-0 here as well. I gave out Jacoby Walter to go over his 13.5 points going up against Oklahoma. And I have a lot of confidence in this play. This guy is a true freshman who loves to put the ball in the hoop. The game's going to tip off in legitimately a couple minutes, so I'm going to get off here and hopefully watch Walter have himself a night.
Yeah, and I went 1-0 on the day. I gave out Coleman Hawkins of Illinois to go over 12.5 points. People might have got him at 11.5. I took 12.5. He scored 17 early in the second quarter. I stopped watching after that. So we did cash the 1-0 there. Trey, let's go to the group play from yesterday. It was North Carolina going up against Syracuse. I gave out Syracuse plus 7.5. You gave out North Carolina minus 7.5. Syracuse up 5 with 45 seconds left. It looks like the Orange might get the outright win as an underdog in the Dome. But, I mean, if you're not going to win the cover, you might as well let Syracuse win this one. Trey, let's go to the group play for tomorrow. Another good game. Miami in the ACC going up against Clemson. Clemson minus 7.5. Over under 151. Line doesn't make sense to me. Have you start?
Yeah, this is weird, and it's such a weird line that I looked at the injury report. Nigel Pack is questionable for this game, and so is Kayshawn George. Those two guys, especially Pack, former K-State Wildcat, I love the guy. He needs to play in this game if Miami's going to have any semblance of a chance, because Miami, they're kind of in a rut right now. Just the last week, they lost by big margin. In fact, 22 points against Virginia, and they only scored 38 points in that game. And then they followed that up with a home loss against North Carolina. But it was a close game there. 7.5. This makes me think that Nigel Pack is not going to play. And that's all I need to know. Give me Clemson here. I'm going to take them minus 7.5. If Pack does end up playing, obviously I do like Miami here because Miami historically has beat Clemson. I'm not worried about this game being at Clemson either because Miami, they are battle tested. They went deep in March Madness the past couple of years. So I love Miami, but Nigel Pack being out is massive. We saw what happened with KU just last night with McCullough being out. You need your star players on road games. He's not going to be there, so give me Clemson minus 7.5.
Yeah, this one's weird. I'll agree with you here. I'm going to take Clemson minus 7.5. I was a little shaken up whenever I saw the KenPom rating. 73rd for Miami, 31st for Clemson, but look at the stats. The defense is almost identical. The offense is almost identical. So that means Clemson must do the small things right, turnover margin, assists, rebounds, don't turn the ball over. So we're going to take Clemson here minus 7.5. Should be a great game. We're going to be at home, a lot of energy. PJ Hall, he's a monster, 15-plus points in 7 of the last 8 games. They've also covered in back-to-back games as well. So we'll take Clemson minus 7.5 with the Miami concerns on the injuries. Trey, let's go to the plays for tomorrow for ourselves. How do you start us off?
Yeah, guys, you might as well just kick your feet up and relax. Maybe put on a seatbelt while you're listening, though. I'm going to be taking this IUPUI going up against Detroit Mercy game, and this is going to be a fun game to watch. These are personally my type of games that nobody wants to watch, but we have to tune in. That's because these.
Wait a minute, Trey. If you pick the wrong side here, I'm going to be pissed.
Just buckle up and wait, all right? You know, just like our other viewers, just buckle up and wait, Bear, all right? There's no need to rush my pick. I'm going on a little spiel right here, but these two teams, they have a combined record of 6-46. They're also a combined 13-36 ATS. So, yeah, these teams, they're not great whatsoever. But that means that both these teams, they've definitely had this game circled for a while. So both teams, they're going to seemingly bring it and bring a lot of energy for this game. In fact, these two teams, they played at IUPUI in late December. And IUPUI, they won that game by 12 points. Is that going to happen again, Bear? What do you think? But I'm going to go with the home team here in this game. Give me Detroit Mercy. I'm going to take them at minus 5.5 here. Even though Detroit Mercy has not won a single game this year, they're still significantly better than IUPUI, especially here recently. Over the last 2 games, small sample size, but they're still coming in this game with some momentum. Detroit Mercy, they are 2-0 ATS, and IUPUI, they're 0-2 and have lost both those games by 20-plus points. The crazy thing is, like I said, Detroit Mercy, they have not won a single game this year. yet they still find themselves above IUPUI in the KenPom rankings. That just goes to show that this Detroit Mercy team, they are feisty and they play hard. And this IUPUI team, they are just bad. They don't do anything good whatsoever. But the reason why I think Detroit Mercy is going to win this home game is because of their scoring. They have 2 scorers on their team that are way better than anything IUPUI brings to the table. Jaden Stone, he's averaging 20.5 points per game. And Marcus Tankersley, he's averaging 16 points per game. That's 36.5 points per game. You have to put in almost the entire starting 5 for IUPUI to match that average. We're going to see both those guys score 40-plus points here, and then everyone else will just fill out around them at home. Detroit Mercy, you need to win this game. If you don't, I expect everybody to be fired. They're going to hold a walk-on practice for the whole roster. Coach, get out of town. Give me Detroit Mercy here, -5.5 versus IUPUI. This is the win, the one win they're going to get this year. Let's go.
Yep, they're going to win this game on Valentine's Day for Earl. I love Detroit Mercy in this game. Going to be my best play of the day. Going to be my most expensive play of the day, Trey, because I'm going to put the most money on that play. So I love that play there. For my play, though, we're going to go to South Carolina going up against Auburn. Massive line. Doesn't make any sense. Auburn -11.5 is going to be the play. It doesn't make any sense. So we're going to take Auburn here. For some reason, South Carolina, they've risen up to the 11th best team in the nation in the rankings, and I just don't see it out of South Carolina. They aren't one of the best teams offensively. They aren't one of the best teams defensively, and they've just been finding ways to win these games. And I'm pretty sure it's because of their strength of schedule. It hasn't been the best. Playing in the SEC, they're on a whole lot of games that you can take off because the conference is so good. But South Carolina, they've only played 3 teams this season that rank in the top 25. They lost early in the year to Clemson. Then they beat Kentucky at home, and then they shocked Tennessee on the road. I've got to give them some credit because they're finding ways to win, but their non-conference schedule was horrible. They played VMI, DePaul, Notre Dame, George Washington, East Carolina, Winthrop, Elon, Florida A&M, South Carolina. These are some of the worst teams in the nation, not counting George Washington, Notre Dame. Those teams are decent, I guess I could say, but most of those teams are some of the worst in the nation. What I'm getting at, I guess, is South Carolina, they're a good team right now in the SEC. They don't have the strength of schedule I'm looking for whenever we're going up against these big games late in the season. Auburn, they do have that strength of schedule. They're the 21st hardest schedule in the nation so far this season. They're coming off a loss as well on the road to Florida, losing that game by 16 points. If you watch the game, though, they were down by 20-plus the majority of the game. They got embarrassed. This feels like it's going to be a lot like the Alabama rematch that we already saw. They beat them by 18 points on their home floor. If this line was like 5 or 6, it would make more sense to me. But because it's double-digit points, I'm just throwing out Auburn here -11.5. Makes no sense. Give me Auburn on their home floor to bounce back in a big way, winning by 12-plus points. Trey, let's go to the player props. Have you start us off?
Yeah, I'm going to take one of Bears' favorite players. Give me Tyson Walker to go over 16.5 points against Penn State. I really love this over for Walker in this game. We're going to see him set the tone early and often here. That's because Michigan State, they really don't have any other choice. Walker, he's taking the majority of their shots and scoring the majority of their points, and he's taking a big step forward as the leading scorer for the Spartans this year. And that's because Walker, he is doing great on the road. In his 7 road games this season, Walker, he's averaging 17.9 points per game, which is over this number. But the reason why I believe that he can match that average here against Penn State conference game here is because of his matchup versus Penn State. Walker, he's faced off against Penn State 4 times in his career. In his last game versus them this season was his first time hitting the over. These 2 teams, they played just last month, and Walker, he scored 22 points in that game. I expect him just to do that again. I mean, 17 points is pretty low for what Walker can do. We've seen him hit this in a half at times. He did start off the season very hot. He's kind of sputtered a little bit in conference play, but if there's anyone who can turn it around against a conference opponent on the road, it's Walker. So give me Tyson Walker to go over 16.5 points versus Penn State.
Yeah, Trey, I like that play there. For my player prop, I'm going to take Jahmir Young of Maryland to go over his total points going up against Iowa. Trey's giving him out a lot, so I'm going to go here with Jahmir Young over his total points this time around. This is one of the best point guards in the nation, scoring 20.9 points per game. He makes 41.4% of his shots. And for the Terrapins, he's been everything this season for them. They are sitting 2 games above 500, and if Jahmir Young was not on the floor, they might not even have 5 wins on the year. He is the only consistent scorer for this Maryland team, with only 2 other players scoring double-digit points per game. And Maryland, they've got some real problems because they have 3 players scoring over 11.3 points per game, and the 4th player scoring 6.4 points per game. That means Jahmir Young scoring nearly 1/3 of their points every single game in and game out. And as a team, they're only scoring 69 points per game. And they're one of the worst shooting teams in the nation as well, 40.8% on the year. And that's why Jahmir Young is so special this season against the Hawkeyes in this game. they're going to have to keep up because Iowa, they're one of the better scoring teams in the nation. And that means Jahmir Young is going to have to put up another 20-plus point game if they want to win this one. Young in conference so far has been a machine, shooting 15-plus times in all the games but one and scoring 16-plus points in every game but two so far. He scored 20-plus points in 8 of the last 11 matchup against Big Ten opponents, and I expect him to have another 20-plus point game going up against this Hawkeyes defense. Give me Jahmir Young to go over his total points as the play. Trey, let's go to the graphic. Have you start us off.
Yeah, guys, I'm going with Detroit Mercy here, -5.5 versus IUPUI. I felt like you just got to take the home team here. IUPUI, they won at home. Detroit Mercy, I expect them to win. If we look at this matchup historically, it's been dominated by Detroit Mercy, but Tyson Walker was on that team last year, and he's not on the team this year. That's probably why they have not won a game. And I'm also going with Tyson Walker over 16.5 points versus Penn State. The guy's a stud. He's basically the only scorer and the only option for the Spartans team. And if you want to see a game pick for that game, go be a member. Bear gave that game pick out, but I expect Walker to be a dominant force here.
Yeah, and I'm going with Auburn, -11.5 for South Carolina. Feels a lot like what's going to happen in that what we saw in that Alabama game. So I like Auburn by 12-plus points in that one. And then Jahmir Young over his total points against the Hawkeyes, probably going to be 19.5, even 20.5. But we're still going to smash that over because he needs to score 20-plus points in that game for them to win it. Guys, that's going to do it for the NCAA basketball plays and props for Wednesday, February 14th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like in this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching. Super Bowl. We also have 12,000 subs coming right around the bend. We're at 10,200. We're going to give away 2 tickets to anybody to any game they want. NBA, NFL, college basketball. It doesn't matter. We can wait until the new season for NFL. Any game you want to go, whenever we get to 12K, we're going to have that giveaway coming up as well. We also have a new game. It's going to be Trey and myself versus the Bear Pack. You can call it Pros versus Joes if you want. I don't really like the name because I don't consider us pros. I don't consider you guys Joes. But Trey, if you want to go to the YouTube channel, this is how you guys play. You're going to go to our YouTube channel. You're going to hit the community tab. We've been in the community tab a lot this season. You're going to go to the community tab. We have our plays for the day. So obviously the intro is not going to have plays for today, but these are our plays for our next video. It's the Pelicans -2.5, the Heat -5, Quinnipiac -4.5, and Wisconsin -10.5. Those are Trey's and myself's plays. What you guys are going to do is pick which one you think will not hit, meaning you're going to fade us, which is Pros versus Joes, which is the game called. But you guys are going to try to pick which one is not going to hit. If you guys win, you're going to get a point. If we win, we're going to get a point. We're going to run it Friday through Friday every single week. Whichever team has the most wins, so 4-3, 6-2, whatever it is, that person or group will win $50. If the community wins, we're going to do a wheel spin for the community. If we win, I don't know how we're going to get our cheddar, but you guys are just going to have to subscribe, I guess, more. But that's the game. Hopefully everybody understands it. Trey, let's get into the video. Look at the leaderboard. We had multiple questions this morning about how to become a member for the YouTube channel. Let's do that really quick tutorial. You're going to go to youtube.com. You're going to go to Bears Profit Plays. You're going to search it in. You're going to hit our thing. There's a join button right just to the right of subscribe. You're going to click that. There's 2 options. You have the Bear Pack for $4.99. That gives you access to YouTube member plays. And then you have the Bear Pack Gold for $7.99 a month. That gives you access to our member plays on YouTube. And it gives you a 1-month membership to our website, bearsprofitplays.com. So if you get the Bear Pack Gold, you save yourself $2 a month. A little bit cheaper if you want to do that. But that is the tutorial for anybody that needed it. We had multiple questions today through email about how to do it, and it wasn't working. But if you want to know, there it is right there. Trey,